All right, thanks, guys. The Knicks take on the Pacers. That's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Indiana. The Pacers open the betting as the, 11.5 point favorite. Total at 212.5, and since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing movement upward on the spread. We're also seeing movement downward on the total. That line moved down to 212. Spread moved up to -12. So once again, Indiana opened 11.5 up to -12. Total open 212.5 down to 212 even. 58% of the consensus is leaning toward Indiana. 52% of the consensus is shaded toward the over. At the moment, the New York Knickerbockers are plus 660 for some money line cash. Now, if you like New York in this matchup here, just keep in mind Hazonia is still questionable. Meanwhile, on the Pacers side of things, Evans is listed as questionable as well. But regardless, the Pacers are 20-14 ATS on their home court this year. They're also 25-9 straight up in that same category. Indiana ranks 4th in offensive field goal percentage. They're shooting 48% from the field. They also rank 1st in the NBA in home points allowed. They're giving up just 100 points per game on average on their home court. Now, the Knicks have lost their last 6 straight. They're also just 1-5 ATS in those 6 games. They rank dead last in offensive field goal percentage on the road. They're shooting just 42% when traveling. They also rank 29th in road defensive rebounding. That's second to last in the NBA. Now, total-wise, the Knicks are allowing 114 points per contest on the road. They also rank 22nd in road defensive field goal percentage. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point slight. No, I'm just kidding. We're not purchasing half a points because I think we are on day 4 of Hook Watch 2019. But I am going to be very chalky in this one. Give me Indiana -12, but the under 212 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for NBA, college basketball, and NHL for Tuesday, March 12th. But before we continue, just want to remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We're having an absolutely incredible run on that website in the past couple of weeks. Unbelievable. Great bounce back from about 9 losing days in February. Man, I'll tell you what, we're real hot in March, and we're going to keep it going, especially heading into March Madness. Even if you're not interested in checking out the website for the memberships, there's plenty of free content there as well. So just feel free to hit that pause button right now, open up your browser, and check me out on my website. I'd really appreciate it at patreon.com/BrockPage. Link is in the description section below. Now let's go ahead and hop back into some more lines of personal leans. And as always, all starts are Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we are going to cover the Cavaliers, and they're actually at the Philadelphia 76ers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philly. The Sixers open the betting as the 13.5 point favorite, total at 222 and a hook. No movement on this one. We're still at that original opening number. So once again, the Sixers are -13.5, total 222 and a hook. And right now, the Cavaliers are plus 850 on the money line. Now, Thompson and Henson are still out indefinitely for Cleveland. Dellavedova and Larry Nance are questionable for tonight's action as well. Now, for the Philly side, it looks like Jimmy Butler is out for tonight's action. But regardless, the Sixers are 4-2 ATS in their last 6. They're 26-9 straight up on their home court. This Philly offense is scoring 118 points per contest at the Wells Fargo Center this year. That's going to put them 4th in the NBA. They also rank 5th in home offensive rebounding. Now, Cleveland on the other side, they're dead last in the road defensive field goal percentage. Their opponents are shooting 49.3% from the field when Cleveland travels. And the Cavaliers also rank 29th in road scoring. They're putting up just 102 points per contest away from home. Now, total-wise, Cleveland's 2-0 to the over in their last couple of games, 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Philly, well, they're shooting 38% at home from beyond the arc. 38% shooting the three ball at home. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lay some heavy double digits here. I'm also going to purchase the... No, I'm just kidding. I already got you once. I'm not going to get you again. But I'm going to lean Philly. Minus 13.5 in the over. 222.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Milwaukee Bucks at the New Orleans Pelicans. 8 o'clock tip-off in the Big Easy. Milwaukee open -9. Total 237. We're seeing movement toward Milwaukee, movement toward the over. Right now, Milwaukee's 9.5, total 237 and a hook. Once again, the Bucks open -9 up to -9.5, total open 237 up to 237.5. 56% are leaning Milwaukee, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Pels are plus 400 on the money line. George Hill is questionable for Milwaukee. Meanwhile, Drew Holiday and Moore still out indefinitely for New Orleans. The Pels have successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 9. They're 7-2 ATS in their last 9 games played at the current posted total. Man, botched that one. Botchamania. Let's try that again. Take 2. New Orleans is 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. They're also 7-2 against the spread in their games that tipped off at the current point spread. All right, New Orleans ranks 3rd in offensive scoring. They're putting up 116 points per contest in that category there. They also rank 5th in offensive field goal percentage. They're shooting 48% from the field. They also rank 5th in offensive rebounding. Now, Milwaukee, well, they rank just 19th shooting the 3 ball on the road. They also rank 25th in defending the 3 ball on the road. So other teams really having good success from beyond the arc, taking on the Bucks. Now, total-wise, Milwaukee's just 45% to the over away from home. New Orleans just 2-3 to the over in their last 5. Give me the Pelicans plus 9.5 and the under 237.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Lakers, Bulls. 8 o'clock tip-off in the Windy City. The Lakers open the betting as the 1-point favorite. Total at 226.5. Not a whole lot of movement in this matchup here. We're still at that original opening line. So once again, Los Angeles open and remains -1. Total's 226.5. The Lakers are just 14-18 against the spread on the road. They're also, they've covered just 15 out of 40 games when laying the points. Unbelievable. They're also covering just 31% of their games as the official road favorite, and they've covered just 6 out of 23, taking on teams under 450. That's bad. Chicago, 6-5 straight up in their last 11, 6-5 ATS in that same category. When it comes to the total, Chicago's 63% to the over in their games that tipped off at the current posted total. The Lakers are 71% to the over in their games that tipped off at the current posted total themselves. Give me the home dog in this matchup here. I'm going to lean Chicago Bulls plus 1 in the over 226.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Spurs. Mavericks, 8 o'clock tip-off in Dallas. San Antonio open the betting -5.5. There's no total on this one right now. We have no line on the total. So once again, San Antonio's -5.5 in this matchup here. Now, Rudy Gay is ruled out for the Spurs. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic is questionable for Dallas tonight, and I think that's the reason why we're not seeing a total poster right now. I'm going to cap this game as if he's playing. I think we're going to see Luka tonight. And with that said, Dallas is 2-0 against the spread in their last couple of games. They rank 6th in home defensive scoring. They're giving up just 106 points per contest on their home court. And speaking of being at home, Dallas is 21-12 straight up on their home court. They're also 22-11 against the spread in the friendly confines. They rank 4th in defending the 3 ball on their home court. When it comes to scoring, What are we looking at here? One of these teams, I believe it's either Dallas or San Antonio. Looks like San Antonio. They're 5-5 against the spread in their last 10. It is San Antonio. So the Spurs failed to cover in 5 out of their last 10. They're also just 12-22 straight up away from home. Just horrible when traveling, winning just 12 out of 34 away from home. They also ranked 22nd in offensive rebounding and 25th in road defensive field goal percentage. We're looking at 48% in that category there. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this matchup here. I'd really love to buy it up for half a point to move it up to 6. That would be really nice, but I can't. So I'm going to take Dallas plus 5.5, getting the job done against the number in that matchup there. I think Dallas is going to win this one outright, by the way. I got Dallas. I actually have, I like Dallas 111 to 109. Pulled out in a close one. All right, next game. It is going to be Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets. 10:30 tip-off at the Pepsi Center. Denver opened 10.5. No total on this one either. No total on this game. Once again, Denver minus 10.5. No total on this matchup. Wiggins and Towns are both listed as questionable for Minnesota. Meanwhile, Denver, we're looking at Trey Lyles, who's questionable for them as well. Denver's just been absolutely dominant, devastating at home this year. They're 27-6 straight up on their home court. They're 22-11 against the spread in that same category. The Nuggets rank second in home field goal percentage. They're shooting 49% from the field. So obviously those players really adjusting well to being a mile up in the air. That light air. I mean, people just come into the Pepsi Center and they can't shoot. They can't score. Anyway, Denver ranks also 4th in home offensive rebounding. And on the Minnesota side, they're 27th in road defensive scoring. We're looking at 117 points per contest in that category there. They also rank dead last in defending the 3 ball on the road. Their opponents are shooting 39% from beyond the arc in that category there. Unbelievable. Chalky play here. Give me Denver minus 10.5. Getting the job done against a number. I also have a prediction on the score. I have Denver 118, Minnesota 107. All right, next and final game for our NBA slate. It is going to be Trailblazers at the Clippers. Now, before I cap this, I'm going to just let you know, when it comes to Portland, when I use them or any game involving them on my Patreon page, it normally results in a loss. I don't think I've won on one game involving Portland, whether I'm with them or against them or betting a total. Portland games I'm horrible at. So this is a fadeable play of the day. The fadeable play of the day. Man, we're coming up with great concepts on the fly every day. Fadeable play of the day. I got Portland at the LA Clippers, 10:30 Eastern tip-off in Los Angeles. Portland opened the betting as the 2-point favorite, total at 232.5. And since the markets opened this one up, Portland continues to take a little bit of money here. They're up to 2.5. Meanwhile, we're seeing movement downward on the total. That moved down to 231 and a hook. So once again, the Blazers open 2 up to minus 2.5. Total open 232.5 down to 231 and a hook. 67% are leaning toward Portland. 81% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Clippers are plus $1.15 on the money line. Now, Turner and Hood are listed as questionable for the Blazers. They're also 0-3 against the spread in their last 3. They rank 23rd in defending the 3 ball. Meanwhile, the Clippers, they rank 1st in defending the 3 ball in the NBA. They also rank 5th in home offensive scoring, and they are 2nd in shooting the 3 ball at home. Now, total-wise, LA's 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Portland 4-3 to the under in their games at the current posted total. I'm going to lean toward the home dog, and this one might want to fade me. This is bad news for Clippers backers because I like the LA Clippers plus 2.5 and the under 231.5 in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some college basketball. Got a couple good games here today. Bunch of lackluster teams playing each other, which could potentially end up being some good competition and some definitely some noteworthy entertainment. So that's going to get started at noon today. So very excited for that. Hopefully when I'm in the office today, I can maybe stream it or something like that. If you know of any live streams, feel free to post in the comment section below, because I'm going to need something to listen to at work while I'm crunching numbers and sending emails. Ugh. Anyway, Wake Forest at Miami, 12 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Spectrum Center. It's actually not Wake Forest at Miami. That's a force of habit. It's Wake Forest versus Miami. 12 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Spectrum Center. Miami open -7, total 142. Seeing a little bit of movement downward on this total here. That moved down to 141.5. So once again, Miami's -7, total open 142, down to 141.5. 52% of the consensus is leaning toward Wake Forest. 56% of the consensus is shaded toward the under. Now, Miami's failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4. They're also 0-10 straight up away from home. They have not won a game away from home this year. 0-10. 10 straight losses when traveling. They also rank 218th in offensive rebounding and 177th in offensive field goal percentage. Now, Wake Forest on the other side, pretty good at bringing down those boards. They rank 35th in the country in offensive rebounding. They're also 3-1 against the spread in their last 4. 5-1 ATS in their last 6, taking on Miami if you're into historical trends. And when it comes to the total, Wake Forest is 71% to the over on the road, taking on teams allowing 67 to 72 points per contest. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes are 6-2 to the over in their last 8. I'm going to lean toward an underdog here. A lot of dogs I've been taking lately. Give me Wake Forest +7 and the over 141.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. 2 o'clock Eastern tip-off at the Spectrum Center. Notre Dame opened 2.5, total 127.5. We're seeing pretty good movement on both the spread and the total in this matchup here. Notre Dame's down to 1.5, total moved down to 126 and a hook. So once again, Notre Dame opened 2.5, down to -1.5, total open 127 and a hook, down to 126 and a hook. 54% are leaning Georgia Tech, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now, Notre Dame 11-3 straight up as the favorite. They've also successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 12 on the road or at a neutral site. This Notre Dame defense is giving up just 68 points per contest on average. Now, Georgia Tech, the rambling wreck, the Yellow Jackets on the other side, they dropped 7 out of their last 10 straight up. They're also just 3-9 straight up away from home this year.